class too.
Yeah, that's going to be another long class. And I'm starting the Empowered Healers class in April. And I'll probably do the anti-aging class then too. I was supposed to start the anti-aging class like every other week, like along with these. I was going to do this class and then the anti-aging. I've got to schedule that. I've got some new activations. I've got so much going on. I've got to get scheduled, you guys. So soon.
Okay,
Very,
I'm looking forward to it.
thank you. Very, very soon. Let me just check Facebook really quick here because make sure everybody. Okay, I guess we're ready to go. Go ahead and turn these off. They can have the replays if they can't get on now, right? We're expecting a lot more people, but a lot of people do the replays. Oh yeah, now I got to fix my lift this up so you see my green screen, not the top of it.
I was wondering how you did that.
Like this. Got some empty boxes below me, and sometimes I put some books on top of them. Okay, welcome to the first week of a 4-week series on relationships. Now, this isn't all about being single and soulmates. This is about all relationships. It's about your work relationships, your family relationships, your spouse relationships, and most importantly, your relationship with yourself. Because anybody and everybody is reflecting back to you how you feel about yourself. So the most important relationship is you. I'm going to mute everybody right now. So if we want better relationships, we have to work on ourselves. And if we don't like how somebody's relating to us, we got to work on ourselves. Because if we work on ourselves, then the person's either going to leave the scene because we no longer need them to mirror it to us, or they're going to change how they act around us because we no longer need them to act a certain way. Because every single person is an actor in our play, in our movie, in our game, whatever you want to call it, to help us up level, to help us shift, help us love deeper and even ourselves. You know, for years, I wasn't really able to love myself. And I couldn't take care of myself properly. I couldn't do the right diet. I couldn't do the right exercise because I didn't have that total love for myself. You know, and in November, I had a beautiful heart healing. And when that happened, well, in August, I really started dropping weight off of my body and slimming up and loving myself. And, you know, I was just standing in front of the mirror this morning, stark naked nude, going, "You're fucking hot, chick. Check you out. I can't believe you're 57 years old. Look at you. You're beautiful." You know, I couldn't even do that at 20 or 30 or 40. And when I hit 50, I went, holy shit, I'm 50. And then now, look, I got goosebumps all over. Now I can stand in front of the mirror and tell myself I'm beautiful. You know, I had a relationship with a short relationship with this guy, Vicky's in Mexico. And he says we're twin flames. And we just had this heart connection. And, you know, I visited him a couple times over a couple years. And then we got intimate when I went over in September. And it scared the shit out of him. And he took off. You know, he invited me to come back with him, told me he loved me with all of his heart and soul. And then he got scared and went home. And then tried to pull me back again once he recovered from his fear. And by that time, I was done, and I shut down and told him friends only. And I was totally heartbroken. But what came out of that was this beautiful healing that I received, where I could really, truly open up to love relationships. And I'm so thankful for that, because I always married somebody I didn't love, and somebody I did love, I always pushed them away. So who else is here is doing that and treating love that way? Because they're afraid of love. They're afraid of getting hurt. How do we truly love or be in love if we don't open up our hearts? And I've noticed that so many people, I really believe like 70% of the population, heart isn't open. And they can't accept that love. And I know that was with my friend Vicky's. And even though he says he's totally in love with me, he can't handle it. You know what I mean? He runs. And that's okay. And I'm okay with that, because it brought me so much healing. And I hope that brought him healing too. And this morning, last night, the energy, I didn't go to sleep until 3:30 a.m. I seriously tried going to bed at 10, and then 11, and then 12, and then 1. And the energy just kept spinning and spinning and spinning. I woke up at 7 this morning. The energy's spinning, 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 spinning. And about an hour before class, the song came on, and I lost it. And I'm not a crier. And I just bawled my eyes out. And it was like, oh my God. You know why? Because I was allowing myself to feel, instead of shoving it down, instead of shoving it away, instead of not feeling it. We need to feel things and allow those feelings to process and to let them go. So I know a lot of you, my friends here, are married. I know a lot of you guys are married, and that's great, because we're going to work on all those types of wounds and everything else to heal that, so that you can be more in love with your spouse, more available for your spouse. And for my single friends here, so that you can really allow somebody in that can really love you. And most importantly, is so you can truly and totally love yourself and honor yourself. And so we have a lot to do with this. And I'm so thankful that all of you guys showed up to support me in my shifts. When all this started happening with me in November, I wanted to do this class, and look at this, 5 months later, and I'm now doing it. And I was really thinking, well, I'm all through it now, I'm good to go. And then this morning I just lost it. And it blew me away. It's like, I'm not a crier. What the hell's wrong with me? Blah! And I know these classes and how they work. The stuff starts coming up even before the class starts. So we're going to do a lot of clearing. And how I'm doing things these days on these calls is I am going to be having some webinars come up where I'm going to be recording some individual activations. But in these, we're going to be doing a lot of activations. And we're not going to do them individually. It's not individually recorded. It's one webinar. It'll probably be in 2 files. We'll do a guided meditation at the end, and we'll start with a clearing. And I taught this blueprint to my master practitioners about a month ago. And I'm going to be using the blueprint. And so it's called the original blueprint. And so I'm going to be installing that with you guys. And then I'm going to be installing a lot of activations and deactivations. And what I've noticed with this and how this works is it actually connects into the ley lines of the planet and also into the 5th dimensional grid system. And sacred activations is super powerful. And this just seems to bring it to a whole new level of I don't know what. But I really think you guys will really see some major shifts on this. Now, just a warning, 2 or 3 days later, you might get extremely emotional. Do not take it out on your significant other or your friends, because you could have a lot of stuff coming up, and you've got to honor other people because it's your stuff, and then it'll pass. It might not come up for 3 weeks. Now, you might be really one of the lucky ones that don't feel anything at all. And then your life just keeps getting better and better and better and happier, and your relationships are getting better. And I'm going to give you opportunity to focus and think about things that are really bothering you and things that you judge in other people. Because when we judge those things in other people, and if we clear those within ourselves, it's going to help your relationship with that other person in the way you view them and the way they act. Because you no longer need them to act that way. So get ready for some really powerful shifts. And I guess I'm going to start with like the soulmates and the twin flames. And I want to talk about twin flames, you guys. There's all of this stuff about twin flames, twin flames, twin flames. And it's like, I'm looking for my other half. You're already whole. And that belief system is like a separation belief system, like you're not enough all on your own. It's more about two wholes coming together, right? It's not that you're looking for your other half. I don't like that, because when you think about that, we all come from the same source, right? We're all part of God. We're all sparks of God. So you telling me that your soul is a half a soul because you have a twin flame is the other half of your soul? I don't like that at all. I think that's totally and completely wrong. And I don't believe we just have one soulmate. I mean, we come from goosebumps all over with that one. We come from an oversoul, right? And we have thousands, 100,000s, even millions of different souls we interact with that are with our oversoul. So, and we have soulmates that come in to teach us different things, to learn different things, maybe to go through your experience with on this planet. Maybe just to come in and to learn something together, or for a healing. I mean, my experience with Vicky's brought me back into this past life. And we'll share a little story with you, and then we're going to get really started here on the energy shifts. Is 3.5 years ago, I did ayahuasca. During my ayahuasca experience, I saw that I had 2 barking dogs in front of my heart, and that I couldn't let love into my heart, and my heart was empty. And I could love others, but I couldn't, somebody that truly loved me, I couldn't let them in. And that means with my business too. It went all across my whole life. And I saw that, and I thought it healed. I mean, for 15 hours, I did the Oponopono prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I forgive you, come into my heart. And in the morning, I saw like the world inside my heart, full, beautiful. It was beautiful. And then in September, when I went to Mexico, Vicky's gave me this necklace that have these 2 turquoise beads on it that are from the Mayan ruins. And these beads, they're like 3,000, 4,000 years old, when they used to sacrifice people. When you won the game, you got honored and you got sacrificed, right? And then what they would do is sacrifice a dog to go with you into the afterlife. And they would put one of these beads in the dog's mouth so that it would take you through the afterlife and to show you the way and to keep you safe. So here I do this ayahuasca experience, right? I've got the 2 barking dogs. I connect with Vicky's again. He gives me 2 beads, explains to me the story. So now I've got the 2 beads and the 2 dogs. He leaves and goes home, and I'm supposed to meet up with him later. And went, wait a minute, what is this? So I went into a past life with us together, how we grew up with children, and how he got sacrificed, and he gifted me 2 dogs to protect me because he was leaving me, and to die, to honor his village, right? And so I turned those 2 dogs into a curse, not to let anybody near me because I was so heartbroken and hurt. And so what had happened is when I did that, it carried through on my timeline. So here in this lifetime, I still had the 2 barking dogs. So when I saw that, I released it, but even more importantly, I realized that, okay, when you have a lifetime like that, you have a couple different experiences that can happen. So what was the alternative lifetime, and what was the alternative happening? The alternative is he didn't lose the game, and we continued on and had children and blah, 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 right? So I said, okay, God, I want that lifetime instead. So remove that lifetime and install this lifetime. And when I did that, a couple days later, I heard God say, okay, I want you to look at this lifetime, which was another tragic lifetime, right? And I looked at it, and the whole lifetime shifted. And it shifted my whole timeline. And it shifted my life. Now, of course, it's taken me months with this process and this healing to really shift up and to clear all of this, because not everything goes like this, right? Again, riding the horse to flying a spaceship, how do you do that? It's too much for our minds. But I started noticing major healings and shifts on that, which was really, really beautiful. So we will be doing that process with you guys too over these next 4 weeks. But today I'm going to install the blueprint, and then we're going to install some sacred activations and deactivations that are going to help you. And one of them is soulmates. One of them is the belief about twin flames, so we can clear that, because a lot of us have that installed, and it's a lot in the collective consciousness belief system about twin flames, because I want you to feel whole. I want you to know you are whole. You are a whole soul. You're complete exactly where you are. So I need to write this down so I remember what I do. I've been writing a lot, flipping pages here. So we're going to do the blueprint, and then we're going to do twin flame, and really I'm going to reconnect that within you, okay, that twin flame, so that you're whole. So whole soul, soulmate, post-traumatic stress, anger and resentment, self-forgiveness, healthy boundaries, child dreams. I don't know what in the hell that means. And then there's going to be some more that's going to come in, but this is just what I was given. We have dreams as children, what our life's supposed to be like, and we're going to clear that, okay? Because we're always judging ourselves on what it is. So again, we're going to do the blueprint. We're going to do the soulmates, twin flames. Oh, get your keys back. Child dreams, healthy boundaries, self-forgiveness, anger and resentment, post-traumatic stress, soulmate, and that we're a whole soul exactly how we are. Oh, heartstrings. Do you know, we actually have like heartstrings, and a broken heart can actually break those strings, and you can have a heart attack. Heartstrings / broken heart, we're going to heal that. And this, even if you're married, I want you to just allow those energies to clear any other relationships you've had from your timeline. We're just going to clear your whole timeline out of that, because this could really help your current relationship to just be on a whole nother level. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 activations. That is enough. So we're going to do this, and I'm going to request that these happen with grace and ease for you, okay? Now, does anybody have any questions? Is this a first webinar for you? Do you want to know how I do things, or does everybody understand? Because I know there's some faces here I don't recognize. So I want to make sure everybody's good. You can type it in the window. You can raise your hand. I don't know what you have to hit to raise your hand to ask questions, or any comments or anything before we get started. All good. Susan, this is exactly what I needed, beloved Tamra. Thanks, sweetheart. How do I raise my hand? Okay, Jacqueline, I'll just let her rip, says John. Jacqueline, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, sweetheart. And if anybody has a question, you can go ahead and type it in the window, and then I'll unmute you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. I just want to know if we do have a question, or we just listen throughout the process. I mean, this is an all-day thing, right?
No, and I don't know how it said 8 hours. These are 1 hour.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, because I was like, 8 hours. What are we going to do in 8 hours?
Hell no. I don't even do practitioner trainings for 8 hours. Those stop at 6. And trust me, we take an hour break.
Okay, and then we all get a copy of the replay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You'll get a video and audio file of the replay.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. But I suggest you wait a few days before you listen to it again, unless you have nothing to do. Sometimes, you guys, this is going to take 3 days for it to start coming up, or even 3 weeks. You know, one of my first clients, 2012, I don't know, April. I was talking to him on the phone, and I said, hey, I've got these new activations. This is what's happening. Do you want to try them? And he says, oh, sure. Sounds good. And I heard in my head, warn him that he's going to be sensitive. And I didn't warn him. I was still fighting, right? Oh, please, I'm not saying that to him. I don't trust this, right? I ran 2 activations on him. That night, he was a writer and an artist. He took all of his writings, he took his computer, and he took all of his paintings in his yard, and he started a bonfire. He broke up with his girlfriend. He moved out, moved in with some Buddhist monks. And we talked on the computer. So I could have talked to him. I could have checked on him. I felt so responsible for what this guy did. And then I talked to him 30 days later, and he told me that he had never been better in his whole life. So, which was really cool. But in the meantime, so I'm just warning you guys, I've gotten on Facebook Live and gone off a couple days after a webinar. It was like, what's wrong with me? Oh yeah, I did a webinar. So warning, just calm, collect, let it go. Go cry on your pillow if you need to. Don't tell anybody off. Okay, so I'm going to install the blueprint, and what I'm going to be doing over these next 4 weeks is using this blueprint with you, and we'll keep anchoring these activations in. Oh, you were like that last night? Yeah. I wasn't crying or anything last night, but man, I swear at 2 a.m. I got up, and the energy was just spinning, super strong. I know it wasn't until at least 3 I went to sleep. Oh, good. Yeah. See, Jacqueline said she was crying out of nowhere. And what happens is when we get ready to do these things, the energy already starts. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording and then start again. I ran the male activation for erectile dysfunction for my past life. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, that's kind of funny. She's also ran sacred sexuality while she was having sex.
Yes, which was fun.
What did your husband
I don't
say?
mind speaking about this, but I thought last night, oh, I'll just run them. And I fell asleep afterwards.
You feel erect before?
I don't know. No, not
All
really.
the blood drained from your head, right?
Yeah.
Passed out.
No, what was happening? I'm not used to it.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. That's funny. Well, if that is, I'm just going to say this really quick. Oh, that's really funny what I said. I'm going to say this really quick.
Considering the
Premature
topic, yeah.
ejaculation has to do with not really being able to accept love. It's like you can't have so much love, you know what I mean? Or you can't handle it. And the same thing with the not having orgasms for women, and also erectile dysfunction. It's all about love, being able to really receive love, and any guilt. Oh, we should do guilt, shame. Holy shit. Guilt and shame. Don't worry, you guys. We'll move on to work stuff later. Guilt and shame around sex. I mean, that's really, really important because, if you're guilt and shame, there was another one that just came in. Oh, let's do sacred sexuality. I am not going to do orgasms. I am not going to do erectile dysfunction or early ejaculation. You guys received that as a bonus activation. Listen to those. When I did those activations, I was doing this class. It was, as a matter of fact, I was in Glastonbury, and I heard God say, add this, add this, add this. And I'm like, no, add this, add this, add this. You've got to add these in. So I did them at the very end of the webinar. So I sent it out the day before. Okay, I'm going to add these in. And I had all these other new signups, And I did it at the very end of the webinar because I didn't know what I was going to say. I didn't know. I thought if a guy had an early ejaculation, so he was just a selfish asshole. Excuse my language. But that was my thoughts on it. But it wasn't that at all. It was really about them being able to open up and really accept love. And so those three activations were completely and totally channeled with, because when I started them, I had no idea what I was even going to say. I was like, how do I even get this out? How do I even say this,
That's interesting because I think that's a judgment from most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not true. It's about love. It's about really accepting that love and being open to that love. And we're going to get there, you guys. Don't worry about it. We're going to be working on our hearts and our open hearts and our higher hearts and all of that kind of stuff, and self-nurturing and self-love and everything. But right now we're going to get into this. And okay, so now we have 13 activations. I'm not doing any more than this. So let me stop this and restart it, so that way you'll just have the clearing that you can listen to again, and you don't have to listen to me go through all these explanations about everything.